ass over and over again. And you're like, oh my god, this game's so crushingly impossible. Oh my god, how does anyone beat this game? What in the fuck? This is the best game ever. I love Elden Ring. This game's amazing. Your first impression of a game in this short amount of time will not necessarily be enough to formulate a well thought out opinion on that game. Even in just a week or so of playtime, your opinion on a game can change dramatically. And you can't even complete most games in a week. Hence why so many IGN articles are written by people who just straight up admit that they didn't even finish the game they're talking about. And as much as this guy really does just suck at Cuphead, nobody's good at a game instantly. Getting good at a game takes time. I mean, I don't ever recall being this bad at a game, but like, you still get my point, right? Getting good at a game takes some time to do, and it's time that these reviewers just don't have. They're not necessarily trying to make their review as accurate as possible. They're just in the rat race trying to get their review out as soon as they possibly can. And it's not necessarily because they don't care about video games, it's because if they don't enter the rat race, they lose their jobs. So the games journalist is forced to play a new game every week, never getting to truly give any one game the attention it deserves. And it's especially punishing to games with steep learning curves, or games that are just hard by design, or games that reward you for paying good attention to the environment. Which is why Rain World, a game that is a complete masterpiece that is beloved by many, is completely chastised by game journalists and has terrible review scores on all the usual suspect websites. It's not that the game's bad, and it's not that particular reviewer wouldn't have liked the game if they spent more time on it. It's just that the game doesn't mesh well with the way game journalists have to work. All of the beauty of this game takes time to uncover, and it's just time that the game journalist doesn't have to spend on a small indie title that they'll never think about again. But despite this lack of time, the article that the journalist writes stays on the internet forever. No matter how fast it was written, no matter how ill-informed it is, and no matter how much the writer's opinion might have changed since they wrote the article. When a regular player plays a game and their opinion grows and changes over time, their uninformed day one opinion doesn't stick around to haunt them because they're not writing public articles about it that can be found on Google for the rest of time. So with all that being said, let's go back and answer our initial question. Why are games journalists so bad at video games? Well, the real answer is that, aside from a few outliers, they probably aren't. They just appear to be much worse because their industry incentivizes fast and poorly thought out opinion pieces that serve no other purpose other than to show up at the top of Metacritic. And as for Dean Takahashi, he's still writing articles for VentureBeat about video games, and people to this day are still lambasting him for being terrible at video games, because I guess some things will just never change. Thanks for watching.
Это чё за what the fuck только что произошел? Охренеть. Повезло, флюкнул. Легси флюкнул уровень, ребята. 228 орбов. Когда такое можно было увидеть? Мой один из самых старых долгов. Ставь лайк, подписывайся на канал. А, кстати, это мой 500-й демон и 50-й экстрим. Ща, пруфы будут. Во. Лайк и подписаться, чтобы спасти свинку.